Cape Coast, where the Atlantic vast waters meet the shores of Ghana. This castle holds a history that belies its beauty.
Even though you may not know the exact village you come from, the family you come from, you can be assured that this is one of the last places that our ancestors touched before leaving these shores.
This is the door of no return, where millions of Africans were forced into slave ships bound for the United States.
It brought me to tears. You can literally feel yourself standing on the backs of your ancestors. They have a saying, you're standing on the back of the people that came before you. That's literally now.
I want to know the people and the culture more. I want to know what culture was taken from me.
Now the descendants of those slaves come here to reconnect with their ancestors. A full circle moment, centuries in the making. Rabbi Kohen Kalevi moved to Ghana from New York 26 years ago.
That's why they say it's the door of no return. Because they believed at that time that if they erased all those things from us, that we'd never find our way back home. But look at the resilience of the African spirit, and look at who you and I are, that we made our way back home.
In this moment of reckoning, when African Americans are setting out to reclaim what they've been historically denied, for some to be able to fully move forward requires a look back.
A lot of the issues that we're dealing with as African Americans are, embedded in this sort of generational disconnect. The trauma, the terror, being stripped of your rights, your identity, your culture. And to be the first in your family to rediscover that and reconnect with that ancestry and be empowered by it gives you a whole new perspective on yourself and your life. When you walk the paths of the dungeons at these slave castles, you realize at that moment that you're not a descendant of slaves, but you're a descendant of survivors.
For actor Boris Kodjoe, returning to Africa started as a personal pilgrimage. He was born in Vienna to a Ghanaian father and an Austrian mother.
I'm very clear on what my family tree looks like, and that knowledge fills you with pride, but it also fills you with a sense of identity, a sense of culture, heritage, and defining who I am based on whose shoulders I'm standing on.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret.
The Station 19 heartthrob known for Fox's The Last Man on Earth.
Because Carol's a real special lady.
So you're the attorney I'm supposed to hire.
And the film Brown Sugar.
You could be my mentor.
Kodjoe co-founded the Full Circle Festival in 2018 to encourage the Black diaspora to reconnect, and for those descended from the enslaved to visit and invest in Africa, organizing trips for other Black Hollywood stars to discover their roots, capturing them on film, including Blackish's Anthony Anderson.
Everything has a beginning and everything has an end. I'm standing at the beginning.
Coming back in from the door of no return and returning, both times I just felt better, and there's always people who greet you on the other side. And it's just been like that this whole time, of just this really, this intense emotional roller coaster that is worth the journey every time.
For Kodjoe, this mission is about much more than a festival. It's about telling the truth about our history, lingering emotional and economic effects of colonialism.
So there's this disparity that has been, carried from one generation to the next over hundreds and hundreds of years. The goal is to first acknowledge our history and realize that this generational wealth didn't just appear, but it was systemically prepared, and there were mechanisms put in place to ensure that certain people were at an advantage and others weren't, and that there's action items, there's actually certain steps we can undertake collectively to reduce that wealth gap and to make things right.
Together on both sides of the Atlantic, we will work together to make sure that never again will we allow a handful of people with superior technology to walk into Africa, seize our peoples, and sell them into slavery.
To commemorate the 400th anniversary of the transatlantic slave trade, Ghana's president encouraged descendants to visit, dubbing 2019 the Year of Return. Nearly 1 million tourists came to the country that year, most of them from the United States, raising hopes for a decade of growth in tourism.
We're also seeing an increase in interest in things like ancestry tests and connections, finding ancestral homelands and things like that. All of these things are connected, particularly as African Americans essentially come to terms with the failures of American institutions, while also seeking a sense of pride in their ancestry, in their DNA, in their origins.
We are so glad to be back home in Ghana, where our great ancestors were from. I came all the way from New York, 5,117 miles.
I feel an immediate connection to the land, so I'm ready to see what else the land has to offer.
So our ancestors believe if you walk barefooted with it, you're connected all the time with its strength and its power.
Though the pandemic has slowed down trips, now more and more Black Americans are engaging with their history.
It means today you're going to be blessed.
Africa is on the rise, and African people are also ascending.
It was always my dream to come to Africa, so to finally be able to come over here, it's a dream come true. It's kind of overwhelming. It's very elating.